I want to hand this over to you, Marcus, so that again we want to have maximum time for our young people. So welcome to our conference and welcome to Strength and Solidarity, Rising Together Through Uncertain Times. Marcus, I'll turn it over to you.
So, greetings and good afternoon. My name is Marcus Cooper. I'm with Teen Empowerment. I'm the lead program coordinator there. And thank you all for being here. It's an honor to be hosting today's youth panel and to be a part of ABC's 2026 signature conference, Strength and Solidarity, Rising Together Through Uncertain Times. I have the privilege of working alongside young people daily, and so I'm very honored to be talking with a handful of young people today in this space. This panel is going to be centered around youth voice, youth leadership, and what solidarity looks like from the perspective of young people. The young people here today are actively engaged in leadership, organizing, and community change work. And so, just as a preface to the young people here today, I want to urge you to speak truth to power. Please be open and honest about your experiences and with your thoughts, because we, the adults in this space, we need to hear this. And I think it's going to be really important for us to gather and gain some of the insights that you all have. So to start, young people, would you please share your name, the organization that you're connected to, and a little bit about yourself? And if you could tell us, how maybe you came into the work of youth leadership, activism, and organizing. And if we could keep it under a minute, that would be great.
Okay. My name is Nizaya. I got into this because one of my best friends started working at Teen Empowerment after they came to our school to like recruit people, and she would bring me to work with her, and I realized that I actually really enjoyed the work, so I also wanted to get into it, and I applied, and I started working in what was it, August of 2024, I think? No, July of 2024.
Hello, my name is Leah Williams. I'm a former youth organizer at Teen Empowerment. I'm currently a MCC student. I was majoring in business, but I just switched over my major to psychology. I got into this type of work around when I was 9, going on 10. I used to work with Robert Ricks with his Mentors Inspiring Boys and Girls program. If you guys have heard of that, it's an artistic development program. And our main impact area is focused around, young Black boys and Black girls, advocating for them, making sure that we know we are seen and we are loved and that we can inspire change. And I later got into teen empowerment a few years down the line after doing work with Robert Ricks.
Hi, my name is Brianna, and I heard about teen empowerment like I'd say late 2023. I didn't get the job the first time I applied, but that's because I didn't have that leadership and the confidence in myself to know what my voice could do. But now that I am here for my second year, I know that I am powerful and that I can just use my voice to show other teens that they can use their voice and advocate for themselves.
So just wanted to take a quick moment before we move on and really get into things to ground ourselves in some language. So solidarity is defined as unity or shared commitment and action, especially among people working toward a common goal. So in other words, you know, folks, coming together to unify around something that we all find important. And so, my first question is, in your words, what does solidarity mean to you based on your lived experiences?
Well, to me, solidarity is the state of shared morals, shared values, and shared company. In my own personal experience, I could see myself in solidarity with others when we are living the same experience or we are relating to the same things and we're feeding off of each other, we're boosting each other up, we're basically trying to help each other grow in a way because there's too many times often in our society where I see youth tearing other youth down. And when it comes to my personal definition of solidarity, I believe we should be building each other up.
That's great. Thank you.
Sorry. Solidarity to me means just togetherness, like being able to be in the same space and live in that space together, like as a collective, just not like tolerating each other, but actually having a community to be able to be around each other and love each other and be in like something that's supportive more than just like, oh, you're here, so I'm just gonna deal with you now, like that type of thing. It shouldn't be like that, especially like with youth and with adults. It's just there's a lot of what's the word, animosity between youth and youth and adults and adults and adults. It's a lot of animosity, and it shouldn't be like that, because like we want to be unified, but there's not a lot of chances to have that because people don't want to change their mindsets at the same time. For me, solidarity is just like, I don't know, like I would say here, like being here at Teen Empowerment, like that's solidarity from my own experience. Like that's what solidarity is.
I would say that solidarity is being able to come together and, whilst having different beliefs and a different view of the world, being able to put all that aside to come together and work against something that's negatively affecting an entire community of people, or just like work against something that you don't really think is right. And I feel like it's just really important to be able to do something like that, because without us coming together, without us working together as a team, we really don't have any power in anything whatsoever. So, yeah.
Oh, hi guys. I'm a little late. My name is Riley. I'm a part of Black Men Achieve, and I'm a youth mentor in the program. And yeah.
Riley, so so in your own words, what does solidarity mean to you based on your lived experiences? That's the question that folks were just wrapping up with.
Okay. Yeah, I think solidarity means like unified to be together, and yeah, like just stand up for what we believe in and stuff like that.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, y'all all touched on some great things. Unity being the obvious one, but those shared goals and common things. Sometimes we see that folks aren't, or there's misconceptions that folks aren't, in solidarity with one another, but, certainly rallying around issues, championing things that we feel are important. So my next question would be, there's this common misconception that young people aren't united and don't support one another. And in my reality, youth are very much in solidarity and with one another. And so, from your experiences, how do young people show up for one another in today's culture, in their experiences or shared experiences, or even standing up for issues that they feel matter or are important?
Um, I believe that the way young people come together to like stand up for issues is, for one, a lot of petitions. We a lot of the time, a lot of the time we we make petitions and then we'll like post them around on like our Instagram stories, so that way like our friends can see them, or we like can spread the word, so that way like, hey, this is happening. Sign this so everyone knows that like nobody wants this to happen, so that way we can work together so that this doesn't happen. Or another time, I know that a lot of young people can come together on topics like climate change or mental health or racism. And we usually have pretty similar views on those three things. And Yeah, those are the main three things that a lot of young people can see eye to eye on and agree on, regardless of who it is or like where y'all come from. We all see those three things as like a major issue.
If I'm going to be completely honest on where I see youth and solidarity the most, honestly, I've seen it the most when we're literally fighting against each other, because that's one of the biggest times where I've seen the youth be unified at the same time. But beyond that, at Teen Empowerment, my experience here, I've met so many like-minded individuals where we could go out in the world and we could see these areas that need help, and we could see these areas where we want to cause change. We could see how we're going to make this happen. We're going to work together. We're going to make a vision, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to write it and lay it out plain.
I'd say mostly like in schools, like you can see a lot of people like with their friend groups and stuff like that. That's mostly where I see a lot of unity. But I feel like here at Teen Empowerment, it's also like a way where we can just come together and use our ideas as like-minded teens to try to fix the areas that we're seeing and fix the problems that we're like seeing. So it's a lot of sorry, I'm losing my words. It's a lot of things that we try to do to be able to get people to see our impact areas and our point of views, because not a lot of people try to see that because they are stuck in their ways and stuck in their stuck in their ways, basically, like not trying to see the bigger picture instead of just like they're trying to stay like-minded, like in their own little bubble. But there's more to the world than just what you think. There's also like bigger things that could happen in from just like one little thing. But yeah, if you get it, you get it.
I see a lot of it like in like schools, also in programs. Well, we kind of doing the programs. We make sure like everybody's like heard. So we like listen to everybody. So like with the idea thing, we all have one idea. Well, we all have multiple ideas, and we all try to like make sure like our ideas like come together, so we like are all on the same page. Cause like with like young-minded kids, like they like to argue and stuff like that, and everybody's not on the same page and stuff like that. So sometimes we just try to I try to do in my program, which is Black Men Achieve. We try to like listen to everyone speak first, and then we'll all come up with like a big idea to come up with at first. Well, not idea, well, a big conclusion to come at, and then we just go from there, and then everybody's satisfied. Well, for the most part, and yeah.
Yeah, I like what you all said. A lot of y'all are talking about, sort of the camaraderie that exists around, certain issues, but also, maybe not all coming to the table and seeing eye to eye, but giving, the space to, dialogue and have conversation and maybe come around and find consensus or find, a common thread so that way you can achieve a greater goal. Can you talk a little bit about how that's done and in some of the ways in your work or your organizations, how you get that done?
In a way that we get that done is through our initiatives slash like events. We do a lot of we'll like point out an issue, and then we'll throw like events surrounding that issue, and we'll do stuff like mental health, like open mic nights where like you can come up and you can express how you're feeling to a room full of people who some of which might be feeling the exact same thing of you, and you'll be heard and like you'll be listened to. And sometimes a lot of people don't feel like anyone's listening to them or anyone cares. So I think stuff like that's really important. So that way people can be surrounded by a bunch of people who care. So that way they know people care. Or we'll do stuff like the fashion show that we had last year, where we touched on like three different issues, some being like there was gun violence and stuff like that, and just try to like spread the message and get the word out so that people can see like, hey, this is like what it does to families. This is the negative impacts of it. And yeah.
So something that I believe we need for that, baseline, we have to have grace. We have to have grace with each other. We have to have grace with ourselves. And something that we actually did here at TE to extend grace was we had an AVP training, which is basically mediation skills. It taught us how to express how we're feeling without shooting the other person down. It taught us how to effectively communicate our ideas. And I feel like altogether, it brought us even closer together. We were able to express how we felt. We were able to express our needs. We were able to express our ideas clearly without being felt like we weren't being heard.
I feel like it goes into like all of us being on the same page, because when people are in different areas in life, like they feel like nobody is there to understand what they are going through. But at the same time, you never know, the person next to you could have gone through the same thing, probably even worse. But you have to just think about how other people around you can affect you in a different way, and how you can go about things in like with the events that we do. It's things that like how Nizzy said, like the open mic, people can be helped by that just by hearing somebody else's story and feeling the collectiveness, by knowing that they have somebody to share that same um thing with, like whatever they went through.
Yeah, well, so the events that we do and Black Men Achieve, we do have a lot of peace circles. We like to talk about like we just give everybody a chance to talk. So like the other said before, so everybody can feel heard and listen to, because like you don't know what other people got going on. So it's like kind of important to like, because you never know, you could be going through the same thing and you can connect on them, you can help them with whatever they got going on, especially like as a mentor. I like to help people. So I usually help a lot of the younger kids out with stuff like that, even like homework stuff they got going on in school, because it gets hard. Some people coming from like single parent homes and stuff like that. So just all about just, and then we do a lot of youth marketplaces for like the kids, so they know how to like communicate with others, and like it helps them because like them knowing like connections and stuff like that with other people really helps them like know like all the communication skills and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah, I touched on some really great things. With what you said, I'm hearing that you spoke about, grace. You're talking about empathy, and you're also talking about like repair for like harm that's done. And I think that's super important when we're talking about solidarity. What maybe are some instances, without maybe spilling the beans on too much, but maybe some instances in your work where you have seen like harm be repaired and be able to sort of get over that hump to achieve unity and solidarity amongst one another as young people?
I would say with my new group now, it's only like our second week, but we are trying to get through a lot of stuff right now because we're new. We don't understand each other right now because we're just getting to know each other. And it's like a lot of hard things to get through because we don't understand each other yet, and we're not having that communication because nobody's trying to understand each other yet. But at the same time, we are trying to understand each other. It's just hard to because we don't have that trust with each other yet. And that comes with a lot of new people. Like when you're meeting new people and when you're getting around people you don't know, you haven't seen before, it's hard to try to understand people that you've never like put yourself out there with. Like, so I don't know. It's just like we are coming together though. Like yesterday, our group went very well than the other day, but it's just all about having that trust and having that like community, sense of community.
I will say communication and comfortability, like Bree said, is one of the baselines. There's been instances where I've either been here at TE or I've been at school and I'm trying to make new bonds, but it's hard because we're not comfortable with each other yet. But that takes a certain level of trust and a certain level of getting to know each other. We're not all going to open up to each other as easily as we think. That takes time. It takes time to form bonds. It takes time to really feel like, okay, can I trust them? Will they not use this against me? Because a lot of kids have traumatic backgrounds and they come from traumatic situations. So it's not as easy for them to trust others or open themselves up to new bonds and new connections.
Before I answer, could the question be repeated one more time?
Yeah, it was a follow-up question, but I asked what, we were talking a bit about grace and empathy, and I asked whether there were any instances where folks seen that sort of exhibited in their organizations or the work that they do. So like, were there any times or any experiences that you've had where, where people had the ability or the chance to repair harm or give grace and exhibit empathy to people that were in their groups or organizations?
Yeah, I will say that there have been times where somebody in the group would like butt heads with somebody else in the group, and it was turning into this like big entire thing. And then we'll sit down and we'll have a conversation, and then we'll come to an understanding that like, hey, this wasn't meant the way I took it, and that reaction was because they took something I said a completely different wrong way. And it just like a lot of communication, like Leah said, and Bree said, communication is really difficult to do with new people that you just met, especially like other young people that you just met. Cause like in your head, like when you're around people your own age range, in your head, you're like, maybe they're judging me, maybe they think I'm weird, yada, yada, yada. But it's also really needed. And we at TE, I feel like here it's so much easier to communicate with other people than it is anywhere else in the world, because we're all a group of young people that I feel like are understanding, or at least if they aren't understanding, they're trying to be understanding, or each day we're trying to be a better version of ourselves. So yeah. You gotta introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jacory Chapman. 19 years old, graduated from Wilson. And to speak upon this question, I believe a time I seen grace and empathy was during one of our events when I was a freshman turning into a sophomore for our Orange is the New Black. It was Orange is the New Black event. When we was all out there practicing, we was all cheering each other up, giving each other the time to prep ourselves to speak out loud to the public. And we would see some people on the street who told us and gave us the chance to speak to them, and as they were speaking for us. And during that event, I believe all of us had I'm not gonna put the words together, but we all had such a great time giving each other the chance to speak to everybody out there in the crowd. It was such a great event when I had the chance to speak, because usually I couldn't really get the time or see myself speaking to other people.
One time I experienced grace and empathy was I had went to a with the program I had went to a gala. Yeah, gala. Yeah, I went to a gala, and we went there, and it was a lot of opportunity. It was a lot of people there to network with and talk to. So that was like that was really a good experience, because I got connected with like a lot of good people out there, and yeah, it's just like coming together and just talking to people, getting like new connections. It helped me a long way. I still talk to some of the people now from the galas, and yeah, they're like good people to talk to and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. One of the themes that I really heard in there was trust, and like, a lot of times there is distrust in the community, and folks have to sort of let the guard down, so to speak. Again, give that grace. Get out of their comfort zone a bit in order to maybe give a modicum of trust in that way, so that way we can move forward, we can gather around certain issues or gather around what's important. My next question: historically, young people have led lots of major movements. We talk about things like the civil rights movement, we talk about things like the women's liberation movement, the anti-war movements of the 60s, the Rainbow Coalition, BLM, Black Lives Matter. And that was because they were tired of the status quo and ready for change. So what's an issue right now that you all think really needs that kind of youth solidarity, and why do you feel that way?
Whether it's locally, nationally, or globally.
I say deportation from ICE, the immigration, like how it's affecting all of us and the families that's coming here for safety, and instead they're being attacked for their skin color and where they come from. I feel like this is a major problem, a nationwide problem for all of us. Because imagine trying to run to shelter and the shelter to get corrupted and it's destroyed. Like, who can you turn to when we are the people giving out the freedom, the healthcare, and this and that, but we still we harbor it for ourselves instead of giving it away.
I believe an issue. Oh, sorry. I believe an issue that still needs solidarity, even though a lot of young people can agree that it is an issue and they'll like acknowledge like, hey, this is an issue. It's still mental health, because I feel like a lot of it is people will acknowledge like anxiety and depression, but then they won't acknowledge like the disorders that come like OCD, BPD, what it truly is, and how like they'll take a version of it that will be like not fully what it is, then they're expecting that. So then when people who are really mentally ill show signs of their actual mental illness beyond just like, oh, I have to flick this light switch 3 times because I have OCD, beyond that, people kind of ostracize them and they treat them weirdly because they're not really expecting, when people say, oh, I have mental health issues, no one's really expecting more than anxiety and depression. No one's really expecting the disorders. No one's really expecting the intrusive thoughts. No one's really expecting like, oh, anxiety, depression, you must like have thoughts of like harming yourself, but no one's really like thinking, well, this person could also be having thoughts of harming others. So I just feel like we have to really acknowledge that it's more than just being sad. It goes so much deeper than that. And I feel like while a lot of youth know like, hey, mental health is a bad thing, no one's like acknowledging the full picture around it.
As youth, I definitely believe we have to represent ourselves the best we can. We have to represent ourselves a lot better than we already do as a community, because there's a select group of us that try to carry our weight, but there's also a even more significant group of us that kind of downplays the whole group that's trying to carry the weight of this generation. There's been often times where we're looked down upon most older generations because of the bulk majority of our generation. And so initially we have to start carrying ourselves better, but we also need people that are trying to help us carry ourselves better. We need people that are trying to instruct us, trying to lead us, trying to help us through our pain, through our traumas that we have dealt with, because that ultimately reflects how we are carrying ourselves, how we are portraying ourselves, because nobody's helping us heal.
I say solidarity between youth. An area would be probably like Nizzy said, mental health, because I've dealt with it myself probably like my whole life since I was young, like ever since I could remember. Like I was always in that state of like not knowing myself and not knowing who I could call out to or even ask help, like for like, I don't know. It was just a lot of things that I had to deal with by myself, but then I had to find my community, I had to find my people to be able to help me in those areas of my life, because I didn't know who I could call on or who I could latch to get that help. But teen empowerment was definitely one of the resources that I had to help me better myself through all of that.
One thing I will say is we need to like advocate for ourselves. Because like, you know, I'm in college, so a lot of the times we always don't get the opportunity to like make it out and go to college and do great things. So advocating for ourselves is pretty good. Well, we need to start doing that and stuff like that. And because like I said, the opportunities are pretty low for us, and yeah.
Pardon, I have my youngest with me, so if you hear her, that's my co-host here. Um, so yeah, y'all, you know, y'all talked about some things that I think are very important, some things that Teen Empowerment has worked on. I've, you know, seen Black men achieve in action behind some of these issues. And I'm curious, you all highlighted some things that, you know, I think are, you know, sort of at the top of the pile as far as some of the things that need our insights and need our organization. What are some small or realistic changes that you feel like could actually make a difference in some of the issues that y'all highlighted?
First and foremost, I think we need to come to a complete understanding with all the generations that we are not exactly what y'all think we are. We are very resilient, we are very strong, and we will respond to the energy given to us. But we will also put out good energy if y'all treat us respectfully. One of the biggest things I see is the older generation bumping heads with the younger generation, talking about we're all wild and we're all doing this and we're all doing that. But realistically, I feel like we have to put a mirror to ourselves and look at ourselves, because I guarantee we weren't much different from the older generation when they were our age. So it's really just about putting a mirror to yourself and looking at how was I at their age, and did I need help at their age, and how can I help them? It's as simple as trying to understand where we are coming from and why we are the way we are.
Yeah, to add on what Talia said, respect is definitely given and not like, I don't know, it's not expected, it's given. Like, you can't expect somebody to give you respect and then you treating them like a dog. Like, that's not realistic. That's not like something that's gonna happen. And I feel like the only way we could possibly get like that understanding is having more events that could invite more older people with our youth to help us understand how like we are dealing with those same issues that y'all probably dealt with, just not the same way. Because back in the day, it was way more lenient. Y'all didn't really have these trackers on y'all phone to where y'all parents could see where y'all was at. Okay, now we do. It's different. It's different. It's definitely different. But at the same time, the struggles that we go through are still the same.
Other changes can help. Well, I think changes that can help what I said about like people acknowledging how deep mental health illness goes is, for starters, I feel like this one, I don't know if this one counts as realistic, because it's like really like our healthcare system does really suck and there's a lot of things you have to change to make it get better. But I think therapy needs to be way more accessible.
Yeah.
I think therapy needs to be way more accessible. I think a kid who's like struggling shouldn't have to be like, hey, I want therapy, and their parents is like, okay, well, like insurance doesn't really cover it, so you just gotta suck it up. I feel like it should be like my school. I know all schools don't have this, but Soda has a therapist in the school. I don't think we had it last year, but I think we have it this year because of like what happened with our school last year. And you can go talk to your counselor, and then you can go talk to that therapist, and then like you can set up appointments. And I don't think you actually really have to pay for that. I think the school is paying her. So I think other schools should also have something similar to that, so that way kids don't really have to worry about like, okay, well, yes, I need therapy, yes, I need help, but my family can't afford it, so I just got to deal with it on my own. I don't think that should be a reality. I don't think your physical or mental health should be determined on how much your family makes, especially for kids who like straight up can't work. Because if you're 12, it's all on what your parents make. You can't even really do anything for yourself, because you can't even go out and get a job to pay for your own therapy sessions. So yeah.
I say more employment opportunities for the kids, especially leaving school. Because I know for my first summer out of school, I kind of struggled trying to look for a job because I didn't have no resources in front of me. It was so I don't know. It was just so hard for me to try to look for a job besides coming to Teen Empowerment, which is a great organization, but you got to branch off and like find what else is out there in the world. But for myself, I found like a stable job when I got the opportunity from somebody else telling me about a job. But we need more people out there preaching about kids getting jobs, because it's so hard for them living in such a one-parent household to provide for themselves and their parent or even their siblings. Because it's some immediate times right now, especially for all of us.
But even adding on to Ja'Cory and Nizzy, a lot of what we go through can be often a reflection of how we grew up, often a reflection of our parents. Our parents need to heal. parents need to heal, especially if they want to raise children that are functioning. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I definitely think it's important that we heal those parts of us, because we're going to continue a cycle, and we're going to continue raising unhealed children. And when is the cycle going to end?
Which I would like to say loops back into therapy. Yes. I think that if therapy was more affordable, we could really avoid a lot of these conversations, because they probably wouldn't be conversations in the first place if our parents' had access to therapy, because they came from a way harder time than we did back, what, 1960s?
It don't matter the time.
I'm sorry. So if our parents had therapy, they could have healed and not traumatized our parents. And if our parents had therapy, they could have healed and not traumatized us. So
we got to stop being scared of therapy.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to talk. Everybody needs to get their feelings up, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna be able to bottle everything up all the time. Like, you're gonna have to say something about what you're dealing with or what you're going through, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to bottle up every little thing. That's going to damage you and damage the people around you.
And then you explode.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say one more thing. I think we need to have, like, yes, there's shelters, but we need way more, because all the shelters are full all the time. And like, for families that are struggling or families that are like battling homelessness, that puts on stress on like the whole family, not having a stable place to go, never knowing where you're gonna go next, having to stay with a friend, having to stay with who knows who. And then, like, imagine being a child in that situation. You're going to school, you're coming back to, like, oh, we're staying at this person's house, we're staying at that person's house. I feel like we need more shelters.
I feel like y'all said it all for real.
Well, I'm curious, what are some things, or like you talked a lot about therapy, you talked a lot about healing. What are some conversations that y'all wish y'all might be having, or wish adults were a little bit more open-minded about, or willing to even engage in?
How can we?
I would say, like, making more nonprofits, like, because my idea, like, after I graduate and become a therapist, my idea was to go do business so I could be able to make my own building that could be free for other people to come in. It's going to be 24/7. Like, you can come in and just be able to talk whenever, because I remember it was times I was dealing with stuff at 3 a.m. Nothing was open. I couldn't call nobody, nothing. Like, I was dealing with my stuff on my own, because I had no resources or nobody to call or nobody to talk to, because everybody was asleep or dealing with something else on their own. So it's always something that people need to get that's accessible to them. That's why, like, I wanted to make my own business that would be accessible to everybody at any time, any day.
I think one of the conversations we should have with adults, honestly, faith-based conversations, at least if you're a person of faith, because I'm a person of my faith. I believe in Jesus Christ. And it's important to find your community. Whatever faith you're a part of, it's important to find your community. There's too many times where you'll go to people in your faith, but they're not part of your community, because there are people that are in your faith that are just going off of what they know and not off of what the word of your faith says, and not how they could effectively lead you or disciple you in a way. It's important to have those mentors and have those people in front of you showing you how to live out this life and how to live it out the best way you can.
All right. I don't want to add on to that, but like the faith-based conversations thing, I also think that a lot of like adults who are like religious people, for them, life was really difficult, and then they found whatever God that like they look up to, and then they'll like look to the children, they'll try to lead them that way. And I feel like sometimes the push is a bit too much, and it ends up like pushing the kids away from it. So I feel like a lot of adults kind of have to let kids find God on their own. Like, leave them alone and let them figure it out on their own the same way that they did. Because sometimes you're trying to pull somebody in, you're really just pushing them away. And I think that a lot of youth would be more religious or like be more into the word if they were left alone to figure it out on their own, to get into it on their own, to like form that relationship on their own.
Yeah, because I feel like with parents or like maybe even grandparents,
The
like
older the generation gets.
yeah, like it's more pushed because that's how they grew up on it. Like it's just thrown in their face and that's what they get. And if you don't like it, then that's just you. So it's like you have to ease people into stuff like that. You can't just push it into their face and expect them to be okay with it. That's not how people like to be treated at all.
And that's what everything.
Yeah.
You have to ease your way into everything in life. You cannot push and push and push and push. And that's a conversation that adults like to have with a lot of their kids. Well, what are you going to do? What are you doing with your life now? Why aren't you doing this? How about you help me ease my way into how I'm going to figure out how I'm going to live this life so I don't live this life trying to slave and I live this life trying to live.
Oh, preach, wait. No.
Any other conversations y'all think adults should have with youth?
I believe adults should have conversations with their kids, especially like when they like young, but while they enter high school, they should ask them. They should ask them about help. Like, it's okay to help. It's okay to ask for help. I'm there if you need help. Growing up, like through middle school to high school, like you really gotta like really depend on yourself. Like most of them hard conversation or most of them hard thoughts. So like when you reach out to the adult, ask for help, you get different responses. So you don't really know what you aiming for, but I guess you ask for help, but really need adults to ask their kids for help because it's okay to be helped. Like it's okay.
I also want to say one more conversation that I think needs to be had. Now, this is like completely off of like the topic that we were just on, but a conversation about like substance abuse and drug use. Because like, yes, a lot of adults will like have a conversation with their kid about it and be like, hey, this is bad. You don't do that. Like, you see like the people in the street, that's how you're going to end up. But also with a lot of youth, when you're that young and you're like being around your friends and they're all vaping and they're doing this and that, it's hard for you to not question and be like, I wonder what the hype is about for real. Like, maybe I should just try it once. And that's like a tale for a lot of people. They'll be like, I wonder what the hype is about. And then they'll try it once. And then now they're stuck. And I feel like if adults did a better job talking that out with them, like specifically like the curiosity behind it, it would be easier for youth to like be like, okay, it's temptation, but nah.
Kind of reflect on the help part. Yeah, like it is okay to ask for help. I know for me, I'm not a big person to ask for help. And like sometimes like I'm afraid to ask for help because like I don't know, I just feel like some kids are afraid to ask for help because they feel like they can do stuff on their own and they feel like they don't need like other people, but some kids like do need help and they're just afraid to ask for it. But like it's literally okay to ask for it. I had to learn that myself because yeah, I didn't like to ask for help even when I was struggling. But yeah, asking for help is a big thing for the youth nowadays.
I was about to say along the lines of help and mental health, especially when it comes to our men and our young men and our young Black men, because they get taught from a young age not to cry. You could do this on your own, not to ask for help. You have to be a man. And so when they get older, now they have a huge ego, extended pride, and they don't know how to let their emotions out. And that's not okay. We need to teach our young men from babies that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel how you feel and teach them how to process things appropriately.
That's right.
Yeah. But at the same time, no matter the gender, no matter the age, it's hard to ask for help because if you've never had that opportunity to ask for it, then you don't know how to along the lines of life. Because with me, when I was younger, I knew everything. Like, okay, I knew everything that I needed to know. So asking for help was like, you trying to call me stupid? Like, because I know what I'm doing. So you telling me to ask for help is like, you make me seem like I don't know what I'm doing. So it's also like a pride thing that is a part of it. Like you have to put your pride down, sit it down, put it in the corner, put it in the box, tape it up, throw it away.
Humility.
Literally, like you have to keep that mentality that asking for help is okay, because at the end of the day you're going to need help.
And also, when youth come to you and ask for help, like we just discussed how difficult that could be. When youth come to you and ask for help, don't shut them down or turn it into a negative thing, because then that's just gonna make it harder for them to ask for help in the future.
Yeah,
Like,
it's always intimidating. It's like
exactly.
it's intimidating to ask for help when you've never had the opportunity or never felt comfortable asking for help.
Yeah, that's great. I think y'all are really touching on some. Oh, sorry.
Does he know he's muted?
Yeah, does he?
I don't know.
Up there, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I said I thought there was another thought. Was there another thought? Was somebody else trying to
No.
speak? Oh, okay, my
No.
apologies. Yeah, y'all are touching on some amazing things right now, and I think the adults in the room definitely need to be adherent for sure. Which really is a nice transition into my next question. Before we move into that, I want to highlight that there are many adults in this space listening to right now. These are adults who care deeply about young people, want to support young people in their leadership, in their journeys, in the work that they're doing, in the community change things that are happening. And so speak directly to the adults for a minute and talk about what solidarity really looks like from their perspective. But for the adults or for the young people to the adults, what is a message that y'all want to share with the adults? How we could be more in solidarity with young people. What should we understand or do differently to help unify with y'all, to help be more in solidarity with what y'all got going on.
Okay, I want to go first. So I think that's something that the adults could do is acknowledge that while yes, we are young, yes, you've had more years on this earth with us, yes, you have experienced more things than us, you probably experienced the same things as us. We are still knowledgeable. We still know what we're talking about. We still have a mind of our own, and we can still express ourselves and care about things that you don't think that we can care about. Like, yes, there are 14-year-olds who are super duper into politics, and they could probably out argue you. And sometimes you just gotta let it be.
The first step for that is you have to want it. As an adult, you have to want to be able to have unity with the youth. If you don't want it, then you're not even going to try. You're not even going to really put forth the effort. But as soon as you want it, you have to put in the practices to open your heart up to receiving it. You have to put in the work to, oh, I'm going to go listen to what they have to say. I'm going to go see what this is about. I'm going to go spend time with the youth, and I'm going to try to understand them, because if you don't open your heart up to it, that's like being somewhere you don't want to be. Why would you push yourself somewhere you don't want to be?
Right. I feel like it goes into humbling yourself, because this is everybody's first time living. You have not been here before. I have not been here before. So it goes into, you have to realize that you have to give people grace, but to a certain extent. Because once you give them too much grace and you keep letting them do the same things that they're doing, they're gonna take that grace and they're gonna run with it. You don't want that. So you just have to grace with boundaries and use tough love in a way to make people understand that yes, I could be there for you, but you have to listen and you have to understand where I'm coming from. Like, explain that point of view so everybody can be on the same page.
I also wanted okay. I also wanted to say, like, from the moment we're born, as we're growing up, we're taught to like respect adults, listen to adults, look up to adults, take everything that they say and like really think about it, really digest it. And I feel like after that, like I feel like adults should also be taught to listen to us just as much, truthfully, because sometimes I think there are certain things that the youth do actually know more about than the adults do, especially in this day and age, because I mean, like, time always goes and things are always changing. So yes, 10 years ago it was this way, but now it's 10 years later and it's completely different. So I think we all really do need to listen to each other because, like, yeah, well, y'all will know, like, okay, this is what you got to do to navigate that situation because you've already been in that situation before. But we can also tell you this is what you got to do to navigate that situation because this is a new situation to you because it just happened, it just started. They just made it 2 days ago. So,
And building off of listening, as adults trying to understand youth, you cannot lean on your own understanding. You have to try to understand their point of view. I was actually having a situation with my grandfather the other day, and I went to visit my grandma because she's in a nursing home. She's yeah. And prior to that, I had a long day. I hadn't been sleeping, so I was tired. I was very tired. I was very groggy, but I knew I needed to go see my grandma. I get there. I'm not saying much. I said hello. I told everybody I love them. I'm just sitting there. And my grandpa's like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you talking to her? What are you doing? And my mom is telling him, like, she's tired. She's tired. She's tired. So he's here, but he's not listening. He's not understanding. I'm tired. I'm trying to be here. I'm trying to be present. But I have a lot going on in my own personal life that is making me not be as present as I would like to be. But all you're seeing is, why isn't she doing this? Why isn't she doing that? When I'm clearly telling you, you're clearly hearing the answer is, I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping. You have to really sit and lean not on your understanding, but somebody else's understanding and listen. Open your ears and open up your heart.
Listening is definitely a big thing. Come on, let's get something.
I say allowing us to be heard, even from at a young age, because when you're such a curious kid, you don't really get the time to talk to your parent or like allow them to listen to you. I know like majority of my time, like talking to my mom, we just talked about like stuff around the house. We never talked about some deep mutual stuff because they not really trying to listen to all that or not hearing me as a kid. So they think that my problems are just so small in my little world. So just allowing us to be heard could go a long way, especially in the future when I try to come to you and ask you for this and that and that. And I like you understand what your kid is coming through, or you understand where I'm trying to be.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we even with my mom, I feel like sometimes we're not on the same page, and I feel like sometimes she's unheard, I'm unheard, and then I just feel like it's just all a mess from there. But like I just feel like we just need to be like I just feel like we need to be heard sometimes. Sometimes we just need to just sit down and just listen. Like listening is a big part of it. We just need to listen, and then before we listen before we start putting our 2 cents in. Cause I just be sometimes I know I just be like, yeah, and I just start talking,
Yeah.
and I just needed to listen and comprehend what they're saying, and then come back with a response, or just listen and just take in what they're saying and just leave it at that.
Attentive listening.
yeah, not
Yeah.
listening to respond.
I was literally just gonna say that, listening to listen and not respond. Like that goes.
Super important. I think y'all bring up some great points in terms of you know, how adults can handle interacting with adults, how we can support y'all, how we can move different and move with more understanding. Um, I was recently engaging with a fraternity brother of mine, and he said something great. And he said, "Speak less, listen more, and ask most of all." Again, speak less, listen more, and ask most of all. And I, when we talk about speaking with young people, I think a lot of times, adults are quick to give advice and want to lecture, um, give insights, and talk about our experiences, opposed to just like hearing y'all out. And so I think it's really important that we just be a listening ear, ask questions, probe, but not necessarily wanting to be there to give that advice and just talk at y'all. Y'all get that a lot. You get that at school, you get that at home, and you get that in other environments, and certainly you don't always need to get more of it. I'm not sure if we have time, but if we could maybe take a question or two from the others in the chat?
One of the things that I think can sort of encapsulate a lot of what you all said is, as a matter of fact, I think it's a biblical phrase, and it goes something like, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Seek first to be to understand and then to be understood. It's clear to me, well, it's been clear to me because I'm a youth fanatic, and that's why we always have a panel livicated as opposed to dedicated to young people. Another bomb y'all dropped is, we know some things. Just listen to us. We know some things, and that's just truth. Parents need to heal from their traumas in order to prevent those traumas from going to the next generation and the next generation. That's some serious, serious counsel from our young people. Needing mental health counselors in all schools. And I would, if I could add to that, all levels, not just high school, but certainly middle and elementary schools. And I think this is something that all of us need to advocate for all the reasons that you said. I think I see something popping up in the chat. Brianna, somebody says, stay strong, we believe in you, and keep the faith. Here's a question from someone. It says, for the teens, how do you feel about expressing yourself today? How did this land on you? Let me pause and have you all respond to that. How do you feel about expressing yourselves today?
Personally, I don't really like struggle with expressing myself anymore. I used to a lot, but then like, I don't know. One day I just like woke up and I was like, wait, everybody else gets one life and they get to say whatever they want to say and they get to say how they're thinking and how they're feeling. So why would I not exercise my First Amendment right and speak on what I want to speak on?
I feel good. Today, I feel good. I feel like there's so much that the youth has been thinking over the past few years that they don't get the chance to say because nobody is listening, or they're not put in these rooms or get these chances to say what needs to be said. So just us being here, being able to advocate for our group feels amazing.
Yeah. Honestly, like, it feels really empowering because I remember, like, I did not want to talk at all. I was so shy that I literally used to just like back myself away from everybody. Like, I was alone all the time because I never thought that anybody wanted to hear what I wanted to say or how I wanted to say it, because nobody like had that, I don't know, like they never really wanted to listen to what I had to say, because what I was saying was the truth, and nobody ever wants to hear the truth because the truth hurts the most. But
Yeah, I was one of those kids where I never liked to open up to people because like I would think like people would think I'm crazy or just like I don't know. I just like I never wanted to open up because I would always think that people wouldn't understand me and like how I would like see things. But you know, when you open up to people that you like trust and like I'll open up to my mom once in a while, but it feels good to like it feels good to know that you opened up to someone and like you getting it off your chest and you letting that person know how you feel. But I don't think a lot of like the youth like feel like it's okay to like open up because like again like we were those people who were scared to open up, not talking and stuff like that. We will isolate ourselves, and because we didn't feel like people would like understand us or think that what we were talking about would sound weird or whatever. But yeah, I feel like opening up is one of like the best things you can do because it takes that load off your shoulders, you know. So yeah, I feel good for opening up, but now I do. But yeah.
For me, opening up seemed like an easy task, but difficult at the same time. Like depending on like situation, I don't know how much I want to express to you, or if I'm talking to you, I know that your input is value to me. Like knowing that I could talk to you, you can give me like some resources and responses to like what I'm going through. But expressing today, I feel like it's okay. It's easy to, as long as like I know it'll be okay after. No, it's not like a big heart throb like crying. I know it'll be okay if I talk to you about a certain situation. I just needed to hear it in that time.
Just once again, we're so appreciative of all of you for taking time and for keeping it real. That part, because uh, there's a phrase that says, "He who knows something knows he knows nothing at all." He who knows, and I would say one who knows something knows they know nothing at all. So thank you for lightening our darkness. Thank you for edifying us. And um, young people will always have a place at this conference because every year that we've been doing this panel gets the most amount of questions for ABC, and we pass the information on to, our partners in this case, Teen Empowerment, and also Black Men Achieve and Youth Voice, One Vision, who we collaborate with on an annual basis to bring the youth panel. But again, to the young people, thank you, and certainly feel free to hold us accountable. Absolutely. Because that certainly is a two-way street. And, we need to we need to be mindful of our relationships with you because I'm a firm believer that if someone like me is granted another 20 years on this planet, it's going to be y'all who are going to say, did he help us? Let me put some in his cup, or if he didn't, we're gonna kick that cup out of his hand. So I think I like the first part better when y'all gonna put something in the cup. So thank you again. Thank you again, all of you. All of you. We're indebted to you for your candor and for the knowledge that you have shared with us. And thank you, Marcus, for multitasking. Because that first task that you have is much, much, much more important than being the moderator here. So being able to do that and keep that going, we are grateful to all of you. All of you. Thank you so much on behalf of the staff here at Action for a Better Community Board and certainly myself as CEO. Thank you so much for making this afternoon really, really enlightening